everyone, Mitch coming in from the Commander's Core Studio. Welcome to the show. So, what is going on, Wizards? Goodness gracious, spoiler season is here, there, and everywhere. I mean, we just finished up Aether Drift. Tark here is right around the corner, but like you started spoilers for that after you started Final Fantasy, which isn't for a while, and now Spider-Man is here! Let's jump into it. My head is spinning. Here we go. Speaking of spinning, spinning webs! There you go. Spider-Man joke. Get it? No? Okay. Sensational Spider-Man, a 3/3 spider human hero for 3 mana in Azorius. Whenever it attacks, tap target creature defending player controls and put a stun counter on it. Then you remove up to 3 stun counters from among all permanents. Draw cards equal to the number of stun counters removed this way. Okay. Really cool. And I want to let you know right now that literally I am just doing actual, full quick takes on these where I just see the card. I put these files up there. I have not read the cards yet, so this is just me reacting in time to them. So if I say things incorrectly, like, oh, it should do this. If I misspeak, my apologies, but this seems like a really cool design. Again, many of you know my thoughts on like Universes Beyond and like its influx into Magic in general, but when it comes to the actual card designs themselves, this is a very solid design, and Proxy Promise will of course be on all of these this year too, so keep that in mind. That being said, yes, okay, being able to attack, put stun counters. You aren't in red, so you don't have ways to... I mean, I guess ironic when Spider-Man is, red costume. Anyways, yeah, you don't have ways to actually get, like, extra combats, necessarily, really, in these colors, typically, like, at all. So, that's okay, though, because you do have ways to, of course, use and abuse that attack trigger, not really through, like, okay, Wolfguard type ways, you don't have Wolfguard either, but when it comes to, yeah, get stun counters on things just by attacking, by other ways as well. There's other ways to give stun counters out there too, but of course you are in 2 very good colors, especially in blue, 1 very good color there, especially for proliferation. So being able to get stun counters on them and then essentially tap things down, which is great because, yeah, you can kind of control the board in that way. You also have ways to spread around counters too, and of course ways to proliferate, you stack those counters. Then all of a sudden you're like, okay, I can remove, again, up to 3. So, yeah, on attack, essentially at a certain point, you're just like, draw 3 every single turn. Because, again, let's say that you, again, get those stun counters out there, you start to get them out there in this way or other ways, essentially, and then you proliferate each time on those creatures, those stun counters are going to get extra stun counters on them, and all of a sudden, okay, they still have the stun counters on them, but I remove 3 extras, essentially. They keep there, and then I just keep attacking with, some creature that grants proliferation whenever you hit. Or again, like, hey, whenever you're casting a non-creature spell, proliferate. Yeah, you can get a lot of card advantage off of this on top of board control, so this seems very Azorius in a really interesting way, because also combat-oriented. Now, do keep in mind, obviously, like, there is some inherent protection from just, you attack, you tap something down. That is just some inherent protection to get through a good amount of the time if you're like, just hyper-targeting one player and be like, okay, yeah, all your creatures are stunned down. They're like, why me? Well, it's because you're playing Urza. But being able to essentially maybe have some other ways to grant evasion, maybe like levitation, a great way to get your entire team evasion, or just like some equipment, obviously, to get it through. Whisper, Silk Cloak, that kind of thing. Yeah, are going to be great with this. But yeah, proliferation, card advantage kind of combinations, as well as, again, getting those stun counters out there in various ways. You can do some really cool things with this. And of course, like, other tap down, benefits, like maybe a certain very popular Azorius commander from not too long ago as well. So some tap down benefits too. Yeah, you can do some really cool things with this commander. It's a very solid design. And I'm sure, kind of like Gandalf in Lord of the Rings, we're going to be seeing like 6 different Spider-Man designs, maybe even more, so we shall see. Anyways, a solid Azorius commander. Very cool. Attacking, stun counter, draw. Yeah, I never thought I'd see the day, but there you go. Moving on. Venom, Deadly Devourer. A 4/4 symbiote villain for 4 mana in Golgari. Vigilance, Menace. Very menacing indeed. Pay 3, exile target creature card from a graveyard, not just your graveyard, a graveyard, keep that in mind. When you do, put X counters on target symbiote, where X is the exile card's toughness. So, being able to either obviously target just, well, this, or anything else, yeah, that's quite nice. Now, when it comes to its potential as a commander, and I guess from the Spider-Man aspect, I kind of just talked about that as a commander, but yeah, I mean, when it comes to like this one as a commander as well, yeah, if there are other symbiotes, great, cool. Symbiotes, I don't know, I'm saying that probably wrong. Anyways, if there are other ones out there, like, great. If there's good ones, cool, include them in the deck, obviously, but at the very least, just, yeah, you could just go Voltron with this quite easily. I mean, quite quickly turning this into a one-shot KO. Again, like assuming like ramp on turn 3, get this out turn 4. Cool. All of a sudden you are, or if you Soul Ring turn 1, like even turn 2, you can get this out. All of a sudden next turn you're like, okay, Entomb, exile something. Oh, it was like Lord of Extinction. Goodbye. Or, I mean, Lord of Extinction might not be that good that early, I guess, but, like, Yargold Multani. Yeah, that's 18. Oh, that's power. Toughness. Okay, well, there's things with a lot of toughness, okay? Like, what's the tree? Tree of Perdition? That one, there you go. That's 13. You can get this into a one-shot KO quite quickly. Let's just say that. And keep in mind, obviously, it is good at just wiping out your opponent's graveyards as well. Because, yeah, if they got like a reanimation strategy, too bad. You're not getting your big creatures because I'm taking them out. So, yeah, taking advantage of a lot of creatures that have a lot of toughness, making this into, again, very easily a two-shot KO. You just got to get to 11. Or even a one-shot KO, of course. Yeah, and you can include some like Fire Shrieker type things as well. Yeah, you can do some pretty crazy things with this. Now, obviously, it's like toughness matters, but also you can go into like power matters as well because you can make Venom absolutely monstrous in absolutely no time. So being able to utilize cards like, oh, I don't know, what's the one where it's like Return of the Wild Speaker? There you go. Like, okay, cool. Yeah, I've got like 12 counters on this. It's got 16 power. All of a sudden, I'm just drawing 16 cards for 5 mana, instant speed. Lovely, because this is not a human at all. So yeah, being able to, again, take advantage of that power, take advantage of toughness, take advantage of filling your graveyard with buried alive type Entomb effects. You can do a lot of crazy things with this. Now, unfortunately, you aren't in, you're not in blue, so you don't have access to, like, a Training Grounds type card, but you do have access to, oh, what's the one? Hearthstone, whatever that one is. Yeah, that reduces every activated ability by 1. That could save you some mana throughout the game. Obviously, some, like, other things, like Frontier Siege, that just give you, like, free mana on each of your main phases, like 2 green mana for each of your main phases, essentially. That can help in this activated ability, so just having different ways to generate a lot of different mana, essentially, just for free perpetually, can be great for you, so that you can either, utilize on this or other spells as well. But yeah, being able to just constantly get things out of graveyards, obviously, like, getting rid of your opponent's things is, I mean, it's probably not going to be as well set up, where, like, the toughness isn't nearly as high, but when it comes to the actual payoff of, oh, okay, yeah, you don't get those creatures back ever, especially again against certain strategies, self-mill strategies, reanimation strategies, it's a great, denial out of the graveyard, too. But, of course, like, when it comes to, like, the big, heavy-hitting effects, it's going to be more so, I've got these massive creatures, and all of a sudden, they're in my graveyard, and all of a sudden, I hit you. Yeah, Vigilance is great, so you can keep swinging. Menace is great to get through, but, of course, there's other ways to help you get through, too. That being said, one thing I do want to mention is, like, discard outlets could be great with this, too, like a free discard outlet. So, like, if you have Scourge Familiar, I love that one. Free discard outlet where you discard a card and you add a black mana to your mana pool that pays for part of this, number 1. Number 2, it's like, okay, you swing through, an opponent either doesn't block or can't block because they don't think it's a lot of damage, and then you discard again something that's got, like, 13 toughness, and all of a sudden, you activate this, you get rid of that card in your graveyard, and you hit for an absurd amount. Yeah, it's a very interesting commander for sure, and of course, like, Symbiote Tribal, yeah, you can probably do that as well, again, because you can put on any Symbiote, so there you go. I guess Changelings are something you can consider that as well, so definitely keep that in mind. Next up, we've got Ock Evil Inventor, an 8/8 human scientist villain for 7 mana in Dimir. Beginning of combat on your turn, target non-creature artifact you control becomes an 8/8 robot villain artifact creature token, creature not token, dishes to other types. Interesting. So again, Ock, octopus, all about 8. Cool. All right, 8/8, but it costs 7. Why? Yeah, I don't know. Being able to just make your non-creature artifacts into giant 8/8s, that's quite nice. Being able to, again, utilize you could just go like a bunch of mana rocks, really, with this kind of a commander and just, like, get your commander out as quickly as possible. Mana rocks, card draw, removal, that kind of stuff as well. But then essentially just go, oh, okay. All right, I got my commander out, so, again, being in combat, hey, you. Yeah, Fractured Power Stone. Cool. All right, yeah, you're an 8/8. All right, go hit that person. Great. So there you go. Being able to just make absolutely massive ones, and I think that Grasping Tentacles, that's something else. There you go. Okay, they got other cards. I just know I saw, like, a robot thing on here. I want to make sure I wasn't missing it. But yeah, being able to essentially, again, go wide with a bunch of artifacts, and all of a sudden make them into those 8/8s. That's great. If you've got a way to double up that trigger, that's probably like a Stronic Resonator type thing. That's probably a good thing to utilize, so you can actually do that more than once in a turn. Obviously, 8/8s are just nice to have, and of course, again, having ways to get them through. They don't have, like, any evasion themselves or any trample themselves, so being able to just, again, grant them, like, levitation, there you go, that kind of a thing. Or if they are, again, like, vehicles, and you can have them, this kind of gets around crewing and also makes them even bigger, essentially. Potentially, or depending on the vehicle, but most of the vehicles out there, then they might already have, again, those keywords, essentially. So do keep that in mind. Like, your looter scooter all of a sudden turns into something massive. So you definitely could go vehicles as well, if this in some kind of an interesting, weird way, where you're like, okay, vehicle, now you're a self-driving car. Great, cool. So yeah, 8/8 Commander, already a 3-shot KO on its own as well. Do keep that in mind. But yeah, it's like, Voltron, go wide, cool. Just get a bunch of artifacts in play. Again, non-creature, doesn't have to be non-token, though. Do keep that in mind. But yeah. Yeah, it's cool. It's an interesting design. Moving on. Not very Dimir, I guess. I mean, when it comes to, like, it's 8 mana, and it does this. All right, Grasping Tentacles. A source for 3 mana in Dimir. Target opponent mills 8 cards. You may put an artifact card from that player's graveyard on the battlefield under your control. Interesting. I mean, okay, yeah, for mill decks, this is definitely one to consider because, yeah, I mean, that's a good amount of cards milled. It's not a ton, obviously. Like, there are spells out there that mill quite a bit more for, you know, the same amount mana, but when it comes to, like, the payoff, you are 3 mana steal something, which is quite nice. And if it's, say, a mana rock, you paid for, you know, a little bit of that mana on it anyways, so there you go. Now when it comes to, like, just utilizing this in general decks, no, I mean, you kind of really have to have, I'd say, like, a mill deck that really actually cares about, you know, either a deck that cares about mill or a deck that cares about stealing your opponent's things. Because there are definitely going to be times where you'd play, so like, haha, I'm ready to steal your things, here we go, all right, I cast it on you. Mill 8 cards, and they're like, okay, I mill 8 cards. There's no artifacts in there, and you're like, oh, okay, well, all right, well, that was a waste of a lot of things. So yeah, I would say, again, for specific decks, for milling decks, for decks that like to steal things, if you have a very heavy artifact playing playgroup, maybe then as well. Next up, Green Goblin Nemesis, a 3/3 Goblin human villain with flying for 4 mana and Rakdos. Whenever you discard a non-land card, put a counter on target goblin you control. Whenever you discard a land card, create tapped treasure token. Thank goodness they made that tapped. Oh my goodness, that was going to be problematic. That was going to be very problematic. I mean, okay, there is a way, obviously, to have those come into play on, was it Amulet Vigor, essentially? Yeah, that's already a very powerful card. But being able to essentially, again, like, literally just go, okay, discard lands, make treasures. Oh, goodness. I mean, does Surly Badger Sword do that, I think? But yeah, not a commander. But basically, having, like, again, like, a discard benefit from the command zone can be quite great. This is one where, again, it's just a 3/3, and again, you could go, like, Goblin Tribal, cool, but you also could just go, oh, okay, yeah, I've got my commander out, it's already got evasion, and I wheel, okay, I wheel again, okay, my commander is now probably a one-shot KO, because I probably have Double Strike out there somewhere, so there you go. So yeah, being able to just then swing out and take someone out, again, wheeling twice, is quite crazy. And of course, then you're also making a ton of treasures as well to utilize eventually, too. Or again, if you've got Amulet Vigor, just use them right away, and then just wheel your entire deck for fun. Of course, other benefits for drawing, other benefits for discarding as well. Yeah, I mean, you can definitely take advantage of those things as well. Oh gosh, what's like the Waste Knot? It's Waste Knot, but for you, and it's a creature. It's called Bone Miser, is that the one? But yeah, basically like that kind of a benefit too. You can do some pretty crazy things, like once you're set up properly with a commander like this, and of course you are in black, so you've got plenty of ways to, well, tutor for things, obviously. Yeah, just in general, like any kind of looting effect, any kind of a rummaging effect, especially repeatable ones. But yeah, most definitely wheels. Wheels are going to be great for this. Ways to double up on that treasure support as well. Like, was it Goldspan Dragon or, gosh, what's the crime novelist? The Goblin as well. Ways to get extra mana off your treasures too. That can be quite huge. And of course, again, Amulet of Vigor. I'm pretty sure that one also applies. It applies to, I think, all your things, right? It's not just lands. But yeah, I think it is. Let me know in the comments below, but I think that's correct. So yeah, being able to just like get your treasures untapped right away and then just utilize them, you can have some crazy, obnoxious, crazy turns. Marinette Master as well type things as well, like punishing your opponents whenever you're either making tokens or sacrificing them. Have fun with that too. A really interesting commander for sure. And of course, yeah, you can just go Goblin Tribal if you want. Like, you really can with this, and it's in the 2 colors, mostly for Goblins, so there you go. Next up, though, Pumpkin Bombs, an artifact for 2 mana in red. Tap, discard 2 cards, draw 3 cards, and put a fuse counter on this artifact. It deals damage equal to the number of fuse counters on a target opponent. They gain control of this artifact. Oh my goodness, that's fun. Okay, so yeah, I mean, group slug type strategies could consider this. Like, I guess politics strategies can consider it too. Yeah, it is nice that like you are punishing that player, but you're also you're punishing that player, but you're also giving them it, so then they can just like get some value off of it and then giving it back. It's a very not chaotic card, I wouldn't say, but like it reminds me of, oh gosh, what's the one where you like tap, draw 2 cards and you give it a Humble Defector. It's kind of like the Humble Defector, but like with some spice to it, because now it's not just politics. It's like, okay, like if you want to punish someone with it, you want to hurt them with it, great, hurt them with it, but they still get like an advantage off it and they can hurt you back with it too. It's a cool card. So yeah, I'd say maybe like a bad gift strategy might even utilize it too, just like counting on other players having your things, getting benefits from those. But also, yeah, group sluggy type strategies, political strategies. It's a really cool card. I like the design of it a lot. It is interesting though. It's like, okay, like I use this, I get value off of it, I put a fuse counter on it and it hurts someone else, but then they get it and they throw it back. It's like, so I'm throwing these pumpkin bombs and they're exploding but not exploding. I don't know. Or like one of them doesn't explode and they just pick it up. I don't understand the actual lore behind this. Wizards, explain. And with that, this episode is coming to a close. Comment below with your thoughts on it. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.